My name is Miles. I'm here to share a zero point 0.7, just under an acre property in Deschutes County, Oregon. I'm going to start sharing my screen so we can go over photos and things like that. In this video, I'm going to discuss FAQs like access, zoning, what you can do with the property, and also utilities. So first things first, you want to access a property like this and a lot of vacant land, this will be the case. Use GPS coordinates. All you're doing is copying and pasting those into Google Maps, just like your friend's address for a dinner party. And this property is located in Deschutes County, Oregon. That's around Bend. So the main attraction you're going to recognize there is Bend, Oregon. This is a really great market right now. It's becoming a popular place for people to live. As you can see on a map here, tons of outdoor recreation. La Pine's a little bit more of a rural and a little bit smaller town than you'll see Bend being, but a lot of flood over from that. If you're interested in maybe an investment property, something for recreation, whatever it may be, this is a cool location, isn't it? So we're on River Drive here between Rim Drive and Willow Street. You've got the La Pine River running right there. And something else to show you, the next thing is we offer this Google Earth imagery on our website. So on Wilco Land, you'll see a link to download this if you want. And if you have Google Earth Pro on your computer, you can open it up. I don't think you'll see the property lines like we have here. We have another app that I've installed on this to show the property lines. But the quick thing I want to show you on Google Maps is that, and you can do this on Google Maps or Google Earth, but you might be able to see street views. So instead of ever going to a property, you might be able to go over, like drag this guy. So you see these things highlight, start to show up in blue, and they have street views. So let's take a look at this corner. This is a really cool area, really cool area. So Oregon's one of my favorite places to sell. This is a landscape you can expect when you're out there, along with that river there. And let me back out of this, get out of street view. I want to show you that tool. It's something, instead of driving to go visit a property, at least you get a look at an area beforehand to see if you'd even have an interest in it. So the next tool I want to show you is going to be a ruler. So Google Earth has a ruler, and you're like, hey, where the heck on River Drive do I go? You know, what am I looking for? You're probably looking for natural features in the landscape. So there's some structure here. There's some structure here. You can use this ruler to measure out structure or measure out the distance. So let's say you find the property. We post all the GPS coordinates, corner coordinates. I always recommend a survey at some point. Those aren't going to be as accurate as that, but it's about 35 yards wide, this property. At the longest point, we're looking at, you know, maybe a football field, 100, 110 yards. So that ruler is really helpful. And you can do things like maybe you identify these fallen trees, some of these blazed trails. I know River Drive isn't showing up very well on Google Earth. So that may be something. It may be a 2-track. So you're trying to get to these properties. You know, here's a river to your south. Okay, you know, I came to this corner. I'm going to keep going down this 2-track to River Drive. Our photographer probably has some notes too that I'll share in the website listing about access. So this is things that I look for. You want to build, you want to develop. There's going to be no utilities on this property. I'll show you some pictures while I talk. So no utilities are going to be installed. Power would be the least of my concerns. There's going to be power lines in this neighborhood. You see some homes develop, so you're going to run power to a property. It's not going to be the biggest expense you have, but something that to keep in mind is that you'll want to get with Deschutes County. This looks like it's maybe River Drive, and talk about what type of septic system would be needed. Well, water would most likely be the case here. Now, when you're in areas potentially that could grow quite a bit, like La Pine and Bend, there's potential, 1, 5, 10 years down the road, city water, city sewer is provided to these areas. These areas start to develop and grow in terms of population. So another thing I want to show you is our photographer will post videos of the property, easily accessed using GPS coordinates. So yeah, this is awesome. We'll have some of these notes inside the listing. He'll have some videos of him walking around the property, and yeah, this is a look at a property here. So next thing we get is, hey, what can I do with this property, right? So zoning is going to be a key factor. I already have this pulled up. We're going to have the link to this inside the listing on our website. So we'll also have the abbreviation of zoning. This is zoned FPRR10. So you can click into that on this and you can start to read about it. Hey, what are the conditional uses? What are the permitted uses? I already have that opened up here, I realized, but yeah, I mean, they're going to have a document, purposes, designate, uses permitted outright, right? What's the purpose of this? Designated areas. They're going to have a whole ton of language on what you can do with the property. Now, you can always call the county and ask more in-depth language. So a lot of times they're not trying to prohibit economic development, but they want to make sure people develop the right way. Something else you can do, Dial Deschutes is an awesome program. So what you're going to do is search the parcel ID number, and you're able to look up the summary of the property, tax info, sales, land and structures, if there's any permits on the property, which I've already looked at all this, won't waste your time. There's been no permits applied for it. But what I have open is a zoning map. And if we zoom in on the property here, you can see it in red. FP is a floodplain. So this is pretty typical. We have a lot of water right here. So you're going to see these properties within here, part of that floodplain. Portions of these properties, part of RR10, which is rural residential zoning. And so you can kind of see ours as rural residential zoning up in the corner and down here in the corner too. So that's a great sign. Like I said, on the aerial imagery, you do have some development on these properties, which is another great sign. These are a little bit less developed as we get closer to the river. Maybe they're using them for recreation, maybe not. So again, you can change the transparency of this layer. You can play around with it on your own now that you know where this is at. Something else we can look at is a summary of development. And it's going to show you can go to the zoning documents. These are the zoning designations for this property: floodplain, rural residential, and you can read about some of this. So I know Dial Deschutes offers a lot of great stuff. Again, 0.7 acres in La Pine. We're using GPS coordinates to access. We went through some of the photos. We know this is an undeveloped property. It's going to be listed with us with owner carry options available at Wilco Lands. Give us a call if you have questions. Deschutes County, Oregon, 605-299-5553. My name is Miles. Hope to hear from you. Thanks.